InsideAIML, Python, the basics of artificial intelligence. Yes, today we are going to speak in this session, just very introductory session. Don't worry if you are a beginner, if you are starting from scratch in programming, and if you know absolutely nothing of programming. Don't worry, we will speak at everything at a very kid level, at just like you can just eat everything in a liquidifying format. So today we are going to speak about, yes, the buzz of the industry, the programming language that is going to take away powers of everything in the tech. That's obviously Python, right? So welcome again to the session of InsideAIML, Python, the basics of AI. So before starting the session, just a very brief introduction about myself. I'm at present a computer vision engineer at a Silicon Valley company, that is Dark Horse, and I formerly worked as a lead artificial intelligence developer at OMDina, which is also from US. I worked at 5+ companies in AI development as well. I hold patents, researches, publications, and formerly I attached with IIT Patna as winter intern, and I also have a little startup of MBK Health Tech Private Limited, which is an AI pocket doctor. So feel free to connect with me at any platform, or whether it is LinkedIn, whether it is GitHub, whether it is Twitter. So this is a very warm welcome to all, and it's just introduction about myself. I will be the instructor of you guys in this course, right? So hope you all are excited, right? Just give a thing, just hands up or something like, yeah, we are excited in the chat section, right? So without wasting any more time, just jumping into the slides. So before, obviously everyone is well and curious, like what we are going to learn and what things in Python we need to know, right? So this is the content of this particular session. So first we will know the basic things. What is Python? Why we need Py actually? Like in most of the cases, I have seen many students jumping from one programming language to another programming language. But most of the times we don't know why we need this programming language. In our first years, we know about C, and then comes to the C++, then comes to Java, Python, JavaScript, etc. But we still don't know why we are jumping from C to C++, or why we are jumping from C++ to Java. That's it. Suppose you want to change your home. That means you are living in a home and you want to change your home from one home to another home, or one apartment to another apartment. There might be a particular reason behind that. Maybe the home where you are right now living is not in a prime location. Maybe there are some kind of technical difficulties. For that you need to change it. Same thing is happening in case of the all programming language. That's why the programming languages is getting developed from one era to another era, right? So these things we will be talking in this particular section, like why we need Python, why we need Python in different parts of the tech right now. So now directly coming to, I will be also discussing some kind of comparisons including R and Java. Obviously, I will be speaking about R, I will be speaking about Java, and like a very brief comparison of AIML on that. And apart from that, I will be speaking about the applications of Python, like in which parts of the tech you can just apply Python, the power of Python. And yeah, and I will be speaking about how you can kickstart your career in machine learning or artificial intelligence or data science by using the power of Python, as well as I will be also speaking about some kind of amazing projects and how you can kickstart your careers in another end, right? So okay, so now let's start from a very basic meme. Just everyone at our like childhoods, we were very fan of the cartoons, right? We used to watch SpongeBob SquarePants, we used to watch Ben 10, etc, right? So just picked up a very little example from the SpongeBob. Like, okay, the person is like gifting something, like the person is very tired of doing something, and just giving a magical ball, like, hey, this is a magical ball, and after a lots of tiresome job, a lots of hectic job, I'm just giving you this magical ball, and just go and handle it up. It will be giving you a boom. And this magical ball, or this magical wand, or this magical wave is actually Python is in our technical thing, or Python is in our technical world, right? So there is a line, forgets at the end of line in programming. Yeah. So why this line we used to speak in Python? What is Python? Python is obviously a high level programming language, which is obviously dynamically typed and scripted language. I am not going to any deeper of the technical terms. I will be not speaking any deeper technical terms. In a very layman language, in a very beginner level language, it is when we speak a language to be a high level language, that means it is supported by lots of technicalities. It is supported by lots of libraries. It have a very big support at its backend. That what Python has. As well, whenever we develop from one programming language to another programming language, that means like you are right now studying in class 5, and when you are studying in class 12, what will be the difference of you in between these two ages? The difference is simply when you are studying in class 5, your maturity level will be less, or you might think less, your intellectual capability might be less, and when you are going to class 12, boom, it's completely increased. You are now a matured intellectual guy. That's it. So now whenever you are in class 5, you cannot handle the complexities of your life, right? Now when you are coming to the class 12, you can handle the complexities of your life. That means you are capable to handle your problems, you are capable to create a solution to your problems. That's what actually Python is doing. Specifically, when we speak about programming, there are lots of complexities we need to deal. Like if you are dealing with a code, the code is slow because it's a big like the time complexity is a big issue. It's taking a lots of space. Like when you are downloading an app from Play Store, many of us used to speak, oh shit, this particular app is taking a lots of space. I cannot afford this app in my laptop, or I cannot afford this app in my phone, right? So we need to handle this kind of complexities, time complexity, space complexity, and etc. so on this being present. Python is such a programming language that can handle these things dynamically. That means it have a power to adapt to this kind of complexities. As well, it is supported a huge sort of libraries. I will be speaking about Python libraries, or what do you mean by library at end. So this is all about a Python. You have to write a minimum lines of code. You will be having inbuilt functions, libraries for each and every functionalities. As well, you will be getting lots of support from the community. If you are encountering any problem, that problems can be easily handled. And this is the power of Python, because error handling is high level developed in Python. So let's have a look on the other things or other technicalities. Obviously minimum lines of code. As well, the main thing of the Python is inbuilt functions. Inbuilt functions means like just a little comparison with C or C++, or a very basic example like suppose you are studying in class 1 and you don't know, or suppose you are studying in class 10, right, or in class, suppose in any of your school classes. Many of us used to calculate simple interest, compound interest, this kind of things with every step by step, because on that time our examinations used to have step marking. Like suppose my answer is wrong, but yeah, if I have implemented some kind of proper steps, then the examiner will give me some sort of marks, right? So for that reason, simple interest, okay, 10 steps, 20 steps we have to do. But when we are coming to class 11th or 12, we used to use scientific calculators. Those who have taken commerce, they might be knowing. It doesn't have to mention all kind of steps. Something which can be automated also by the process of the calculator. That's it. So yeah, the things can be automated, but when we are at a beginner level or when we are at a basic level, so not so much developed, we have to calculate the things manually. The same things also happens in the programming. Generally, every one of us know like algorithms, right? Algorithms is the backend, or algorithms is the base of everything, right? So suppose you are using an app. Suppose let us take an example of Facebook. You are using simply Facebook. So, or not only Facebook, any app. Whenever I am downloading an app from Play Store, I am first doing login or sign up. So when I am doing login or sign up, I am giving my X amount of the credentials, and that credentials is validated from the database that is present at the backend, and then the app is telling me, okay, whether you are my registered user or whether you are a new user, and these steps you have to follow after the login or sign up. So how can a machine or how can a system can understand, or non-human being can understand? So this entire thing happens by some kind of algorithm being present at the back end of the process, or some kind of algorithm which is dealing with some kind of logics. This is actually algorithms. Algorithms are nothing, some kind of step-by-step process. That's it. So yeah, obviously we need to code the algorithms manually, but every time we don't need to. Suppose you are so suppose you need to add two numbers. Suppose you are told, like your examiner told you, hey, add two numbers. You don't need to take the variable, define the variables, define a function, and then code it to like writing a code to addition. Many of us come across this type of codes. Hey, write an addition function or write a code to subtraction, multiplication, division, calculator code in our first years, or those whoever are doing coding from the school level at a very beginner level. But when we speak about Python, most of the algorithms have some kind of inbuilt functions, because we need to save our time, we need to save our complexities, we need to deal a heck lot of things, we need to implement algorithms directly. Implement algorithms directly in the means like it is mostly validated, means like, okay, you are a beginner, you cannot code the algorithm manually but in your hand. Don't worry, use Python. You have an inbuilt function. You need to call the function only. That's it. Boom. Your algorithm is called off. And so you no need to worry that, okay, I cannot code each and every steps. I don't know the background logics. I don't know the background mathematics. Don't worry. So Python will be helping you. Apart from this, you can see over the slide, like how much less time Python is taking from the other programming languages. That's it. So hope you guys are getting it. Just again give a hands up just to cheer me up, like, okay, I'm getting it and I'm not going anything out of your minds. That's it. Okay. So yeah. So there are some additional things in the Python. So I will be speaking about applications of the Python in a different way, but yeah, since we are coming at speaking about very basic things, again here I am speaking about the two most important concepts of everything, or these things are called as the foundation, logics of, or what do you mean by the libraries and the packages. At the very start of the session I told Python is supported by a heck lot of libraries or heck lot of packages. So simply the thing that comes in our mind when we listen to the term library is like, okay, suppose you are studying something or you want to study something, right? Suppose you are doing a research on a topic. So in our olden days, not right now because now everything is available on Google, but yeah, in our olden days when we used to do the researches, then we used to go to the library, issue a library card, and we used to get a heck lot of books. We need to sit over there, and that books is our supplement to the knowledge. That's it. That means a library is a place where everything is being stored. Just you have to go and fetch what you need. So the same thing happens in the Python, just for your curiosity. Like I am right now spoken, most of the algorithms is deployed in a format of an inbuilt function, like, okay, calling a particular function and your work is done. Where does this algorithm is stored, or from where this algorithm is called, or from where the function is calling the algorithm? You are running the function, but from where the function is bringing it? This function is bringing that particular capability or particular algorithm from a library. Actually, you are importing a library at the very beginning of your Python code. A heck lot of libraries is present. Like you have seen, like a very biggest example is the COVID-19 curve. You have seen in the news channels, news media, everywhere. Several types of the stylised curves is being plotted. Curve for Maharashtra, curve for India, curve for any state of India, outside India, etc. Like scattered curve, histogram, bar diagram, etc. So you might think, okay, the statisticians will have a heck lot of job. They are sitting, calculating the data and generating this bar diagram. No. They are using a very basic Python libraries, or there are innumerable Python packages coming from the matplotlib, coming from plotly, etc. etc. These are the name of the Python libraries, which is having some kind of packages that will be allowing you to plot the curve. Now you will say, okay, do I have to write a complete code of the histogram? No. You have to simply call an inbuilt function. In matplotlib, a heck lot of inbuilt functions are present. You have to call that particular function. That's it. The function will call the rest of the thing. You no need to worry. That's it. So this is a very famous callable features that comes from the power of the Python. Right now it is available in other programming languages also in a better way. But yeah, it is most developed in Python because Python's library count is very much more. Right. So yeah. So let's jump to the other parts. So now we know like what do you mean by Python and why we are using Python. Because why we are using Python, very less amount of the code, few lines of code, high time, like it is very time efficient, it is space efficient, it will not give us enough labor to like code each and everything. I can call anything by some kind of inbuilt functions, huge amount of the supportability, errors can be encountered very easily. So these are all the parts of the Python, and the best part of the Python I want to tell you all, The best part of the Python is Python community. Python community is increasing day by day and day. It is having a very big and strong community where everyone is working at their level best to deliver the best part of the Python to everyone, and it's very free to use. They're trying to adopt the very high level technical features in a very user friendly manner. The best part is community. So if you're a beginner in Python, then I will be telling, or if you're a beginner in programming, go for Python. You know your language, you know how to speak English, you know how to address your friend. Suppose your friend is Ram. That's it. That's the only basic thing you need to know for Python, because you don't need to define any constants. You don't need to define which one is integer, which one is float, which one is character value, blah blah blah. Only Python understands a variable is variable. There is no constant, there is no special definition for variable. That's it. It's something like our life, like every time we used to say, why I will give some special importance to the variables. Variable is variable. They will keep on changing time by time. That's the same thing Python used to do. So if you know English, go for Python. That's it. Don't worry if you're a beginner. So here you can see also in this meme. So I guess hope you guys are enjoying. So if you are, then just give a comment section or a hands up, heads up, hey, like that. Okay. So now let us encounter some kind of questions in Python. So why should we learn Python? Or in many of the students I have trained more than 1K students, and many of the students is having this much of query. Sir, which programming language we should learn? We should learn Java, we should learn Python, or we should learn R, because I am a beginner, I don't know. So here comes a very big questions, because it's obviously on to your choice, but there are some kind of things, but I can only speak about the difference, and I can give you a suggestion which programming language you should go first. It's not like that I am taking the session of Python and I will be indulging you guys to go into Python. But yeah, I will be speaking about what is ground truth triangle, right? So okay, so suppose I am speaking about a thing like, okay, here it is a guy. This guy is confused in choosing in between Python and R, right? So if I am speaking about this, in this particular case, so this guy suppose is making a project of like anything like COVID-19 prediction curve. So this is a project. The guy having a data. The data is universally available in the government sites. The guy is downloading the data, and now he is trying to build a COVID-19 prediction curve. And the guy is stuck in the problem. Okay, which programming language I will use, Python or R, right? So the guy is simply boomed over internet and seen there are a heck lot of packages present in an R, there are a heck lot of packages present in a Python. Just for your food for knowledge, like yeah, the things that comes in the plotting of the curve, handling the data, there are the 5 things that should remain in our mind when we are dealing with the Python projects, or when we are speaking about machine learning projects coming from the Python or anything or this kind of prediction projects. That means is the basic of the every project, or the basic of the thing is data. And obviously we'll be making any software or making any prediction system, recommendation systems, etc. by the power of data. And when you are having a data, so suppose, okay, this is your problem statement, COVID-19 prediction curve, and you are collecting the data from external sources, XYZ source. Now you need to do something. That means the data you get from market is obviously raw data, right? Obviously raw data, because generally the data we get from market is raw data, because if it is an image data, the image data is noisy. It is having a heck lot of images that is not appropriate to your need. If it is a numerical data, then there are some values which are missing, then there are some values which are inappropriate, and etc. many things. So what you need to do, you need to process your data, or you need to clear up your data. That means unwanted things must be removed off. Now you might feel, I guess everyone is thinking, why you need to do this? We can directly load the raw data, right? Why you are doing this? If you are a beginner, you might be thinking, I guess, right? Okay, so yeah, so we need to clear the data, or we need to process the raw data, because if your data is having both the things, like the things which is important, wanted plus unwanted, right? So if your data is having something like that, and if you are in-building, or if you are writing an algorithm that will be doing a prediction, you are simply loading the data inside an algorithm, and your algorithm will be working. I'm not telling your algorithm will be not working. But why you are going to take some kind of extra time of processing? Every time the algorithm will learn, or try to learn, or run, simply run. it will be running on all over the data, and if there is an unwanted data which is taking some extra space, obviously it will be taking extra processing time and processing space. Why do you need this? And obviously it will be hampering some kind of misconceptions, because in our real life we always tell something like that: learn the proper thing but don't learn the wrong thing, right? If you learn the wrong thing along with the proper thing, the wrong thing will completely destroy the proper thing and your entire knowledge. The same thing happens with the data. We need to clear it up, right? So these things, data visualization, data cleaning, or sometimes we doesn't have the data. Sometimes we doesn't have the data in our hands. On that particular cases, we need to download the data from external sources. The technique is called as the data scraping, right? So data visualization, data processing, data scraping, and etc. Many things are there also, but these are the very three big things. So these things comes under the domain of the data science. Or another thing is the data conversion. Data conversions is something like, if you are coming from 11, 12, then you guys can know. Yeah, so it is something like conversion in between the units, SI to CGS, CGS to SI, etc. So the data conversion is also like that, because there are several algorithms. Different algorithms are like humans. We humans have some needs. Algorithms also have some needs. So there are different types of algorithms which is having a different types of need of the data. Just for your knowledge, the data are of several patterns, that is COCO, JSON, etc. COCO, JSON, CSV, simple Excel values. So sometimes, according to the need of the models, we used to keep on changing the data types. That means which type of data I have, from CSV to JSON, from JSON to COCO, etc. So these things are out of the Python part, but yeah, these things are all for your knowledge. So these things comes under data science. So when we are talking about data science, when we are speaking about data science, then Python and R is mostly having some kind of similar capability, as you can see in the screen. But yeah, R is computationally more efficient, because R is built on statistical computing. The backend of the Python is also mathematics, the backend of the R is also mathematics, but R is specifically made for the data science. It is having specific statistical powers, specific statistical computational algorithms that is happening at its backend or working at its backend, which will be helping you in a better computation or dealing with the data if you are doing any sort of data science work. I'm not telling Python cannot. Python is having the packages called as a NumPy. Suppose your data is a mathematical data, you can use the power of the NumPy. NumPy deals with an n-dimensional arrays. Now you might speak, sir, how n-dimensional array come into a computer? If it is an image, every one of us know about that kind of processes: image recognition, face recognition. Because every one of us, like a very big example is, whenever we buy a new phone, we simply click our picture and set our face lock. From the very next time when we simply pose in front of our camera, the phone recognizes, okay, this is my admin and this is not my admin. So this type of systems are the facial recognition system. But how can a machine can do that? Obviously, this field comes under AI called computer vision. But yeah, the data format we need is an image data or in a video type data. So specifically, computer doesn't understand this to be face, it is to be nose. It specifically converts an image into a n-dimensional array or a specific set of numbers, and that numbers are computed. So Python also supports huge number of packages like NumPy for mathematical computation. If you are working on the calculus part or other parts of the linear algebra or etc. you can go for SymPy module of the Python, NumPy, SymPy, pandas, etc. being present. But yeah, specifically talking about the data science part, yeah, R is developed. But if I am coming to the part of the ML models, or if I am coming to the part of the model building or model scaling or increasing the accuracy of the model, testing the model, Python is more and more developed. First point. So this is from the end of artificial intelligence. Now coming to the end, other than artificial intelligence, Python is having a huge supportability feature of making backend and front end. So which Python framework will be enabling you? That is Django. If you are using the Django, you are not a web developer. You don't know a single line of Adobe. You don't know a single line of HTML, CSS. You don't know JavaScript. Don't worry. Learn Python. A single framework of Python will be helping you to make both front end and back end. That is Django. Obviously, R doesn't have that much of supportability. You can make APIs in Python. If you're a beginner, a very quick note. What do you mean by API? API is just like a postmaster or a postman. Like in the olden days, when there was no email system, when there was no phone, no cell phones, no internet. Suppose I am living outside my home or far away from home. Our family members used to write some kind of letters to us. The letter is posted at the local post office, and the postman used to carry the letters, and again in return they used to bring the reply of mine to my family. So the same thing is done by the APIs. API is a communication platform, or is a communication technique or a communication tool in between the front end and back end. That means request is posted from the front end side to the back end, and the back end used to process the request and give a response in the value of that particular request. That's it. So Python enables you to make such kind of APIs. Generally, to make the APIs, you need to know the JavaScript. But if you know Python, yeah, you can. So specifically, you need to know Flask. If you know Flask, the framework of Python, you can make the Flask APIs that will be helping you in making full stack apps. This thing is not present. What is present in R? You can make shiny apps. R is also enabling you to make some kind of apps, some kind of Android applications. But yeah, that is Shiny platform. Shiny platform is well developed in deploying the ML models or artificial intelligence model at its backend, but still not it is well developed. So these are the powers of Python. Apart from the development side, Python will be helping you some kind of the data mining processes, which R is still not developed so much, but R is also developed, because if you are speaking for the data science cases, R is developed. But yeah, Python helps you in the cybersecurity end. If you are going to the scripting, if you are going to hashing, you can easily do by the power of Python. So better go for Python. So another biggest example or another biggest question is Java versus Python. So this question I want to deal with this particular meme. Also the things are written over here on the particular thing, on the particular slide. You guys can read, right? But I will be just speaking this thing in a very layman's language. No Java, why Python? Or I don't know Java, then what to do, right? So specifically, what is the difference in between the Java and Python? Obviously, at a very single blow, you cannot code AI models in Java. You have to come to Python. Now, many of you may ask, sir, why we cannot code? Because you don't have such amount of libraries. You cannot handle with high level computation of the models, algorithms. You don't have so much of supportability. Where I don't have support, why I should go there, right? So this is the problem of Java. You cannot do machine learning on Java. I am not telling machine learning is not present in Java. There is a team of Google called as a TensorFlow who tried to make a TensorFlow Java, where they are trying to deploy ML models also in Java, but they completely failed on that. Because the problem with the Java is the computational speed, computational capability. That means why I am comparing snail with a rabbit. That's it. So this is a very big thing in the difference in between the Python and Java. Another difference, because Java is handling a heck lot of library for the simple functions also. Suppose you are going to define string, you need to know a lot of dependencies, lot of functionalities. Second thing. Third thing is the number of lines of code, which is very, very less in Python. That means the Python is having developed computational powers and developed time and space complexities issues. And other things you can see over the slide. I don't want to waste a lot of time on this. Hope you guys are clear and enjoying the sessions, because I'm not going any deeper technical end. And don't worry, Python is very easy. Only know your language, know English, and that's it. Boom. Because the lines you have to write what you speak and what you understand, what you imagine. That's it. So don't worry, anyone can do Python. So now comes to the Python applications, or what kind of applications we can do by the use of Python, or what kind of things we can do. So the Python applications generally including the web applications. Why web applications? Because right now I have spoken about the power of Python by using the frameworks that is called Django or Flask. These are the frameworks. So you can do websites, you can make full stack sites or web apps as well. So in web development, Python is having a well on hand, as well as desktop GUI application. That means the simply desktop apps. The desktop apps we used to use, that can be also coded in Python by the power of the Django. And apart from that, the largest part of the Python development is the artificial intelligence. Here you can see on the image processing end, image processing applications. Yeah, you can do that kind of computer vision projects or AI projects by the use of the Py. Apart from that, there are several kind of the modeling softwares. I don't know if any one of you have studied AutoCAD or 3D CAD at your first years. If anyone studied, you can tell. Okay, so if anyone has